YouTube. I'm back once again. Not so much pickups this time as Christmas presents. Yeah, I want to show you what I got for Christmas, at least as far as TV and movies are concerned. It has been a while, it's been a couple of months, and I have still been going out and getting stuff, although like I mentioned last time, maybe the last few times, I'm not picking up anywhere near as much as I used to, but I did have one decent day out not so long ago, a few weeks ago I suppose, that I did try and film in the car, but something happened with the audio and it wasn't really usable, so I never really did anything with that. But anyway, that's a video for another time. Hopefully this is my Christmas presents. So this first couple of gifts came from friends. I guess what you would call YouTube friends, people that I've met over the years on YouTube, and people that, even though they were initially subscribers of the channel, have become friends, and we've been exchanging Christmas gifts now for the last 2, 3, maybe more years. So these have come from Pete Cahill. Pete sent me a couple of items off my Amazon wish list. Managed to pick me 2 items that actually complete 2 different collections, although one is only complete for now because there'll be more films to come, I'm sure. But he sent me it's the Fast and Furious 10, isn't it? But it's Fast X. I didn't buy this when it initially came out, at least on Blu-ray, because it came out digitally, I think almost a month before, if I'm right. But anyway, I bought it on iTunes. I have done with the last couple of these. There's not many movies I'll buy digitally on iTunes or anywhere really. In fact, iTunes is the only place I buy digital movies. But I would probably say that the Fast and Furious is my favourite, at least current movie series. Probably was once Marvel, but more recently Marvel movies have been just not very good. So I've seen this a few times now, but yeah, always happy to get the physical, especially when I've got the entire collection previous to this. One thing there is to note, and this has been happening a lot quite recently, we might come back to this again at some point, Universal seem to have also gone for these slimmer cases, which for the past 18 years they've always been using these fat Amaray cases. I mean, this isn't a Universal, but that's just an example. And suddenly, like a few other companies, have started going to these slim ones. Now they're great for storage, obviously they're thinner, but it just makes them look a little bit awkward on the shelf with all the other ones that are of the previous size. Now no doubt they'll all get reissued at some point in slimmer cases, but will they reissue them with the slip covers? Who knows? I doubt it. But yeah, happy to have got this with a slip cover. You know what I'm like, I'm I prefer to have a slip cover if it's possible. Not everything comes with a slip cover, obviously. I can't just get this back on now. There we go. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was absolutely bonkers, but a lot of fun, and can't wait for the next one. Then the other one Pete bought me was an item that probably a year ago I would swear I had. This is a Network release. Sadly, we all know that Network no longer in business, and such a shame because they had some brilliant releases. But this is Retroaction 3, which is a selection of 70s, 60s, 70s and possibly 80s, I'm not sure, TV shows. Just one episode from a selection of TV shows. So on this one you've got The Saint, Danger Man, Zoo Gang, what we got there, Shirley's World, The Invisible Man, and The Baron. So yeah, I would have sworn not so long ago that I already owned this, and at some point I did. But a few years ago, Amazon was selling these off at stupid money, like a couple of quid. And CEX were taking them in trade for, I think, at one point £12. They did start to come down, but even then, I think when Amazon got to the point that there was none of these left, they were still trading for about £5. Now I think CEX sell this for £5 now, but it hasn't been in stock for a long time. But like I say, I must have bought, well, should I say, like I say, I could have sworn I had one of these, but I must have bought, I don't know, double figures at least of these and traded them into CEX just because the trade was so good. But I thought I'd kept one for myself, but it looks like I didn't. I've recently got all my TV show Blu Rays back out of storage and on the shelf. And I guess that's probably why I thought I still had it, because I wasn't immediately able to go and check. But obviously, well, it's not obviously, but as you can see in here, it just so happens that these, and this is totally coincidence, these were put away long before I put on the shelf, long before I got this. But I've got volumes 1 and 2, which I got in CX, I think either earlier this year or late last year. So yeah, that's a collection. I'll have to make some space though, because it's not going to fit, and I've got some more stuff to go on this shelf as well. So yeah, that's a collection completed. I think it's very unlikely there'll be any more, obviously because network are no longer around. But yeah, really pleased to have got that. And these next two came from another Pete, Blu-ray Bullet Brit. Once again, friends on YouTube, and once again been exchanging Christmas gifts the last couple of years, at least. And he sent me a couple of items off my Amazon wish list, which I'm very pleased to have got, because I haven't seen either of these films. Although to be fair, I still haven't seen the first Shazam. I do own it in 3D. I got it in 3D. I don't think it was that recently. Well, I should say, I think it was that quite recently. No, it wasn't recently. But anyway, either way. But I've got plenty of time over the next week and a half before I go back to work, so I shall endeavour to get these watched. So yeah, we've got Shazam, the newer one, the one I'm not entirely sure what just happened there, but somehow I hit a button on the side of my phone and stopped recording. Hopefully it only just stopped recording. But anyway, what was I saying? Shazam. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to watch the first one and this one over the next week or so. The Flash. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things. And I think DC can be quite hit and miss. But I'm definitely willing to give this a try. So yeah, pleased to have got that too. Moving on. Then the rest of these all came from family. So firstly, these are in no particular order now. We've got Tony Robinson's World War I in 3D, Discovery Channel. I come across this quite recently on, did I see it on Amazon or did I see it in CX? I can't remember. I was doing a search, I was probably doing a search on both actually, both websites just for 3D in general, to see if there's what was available that I didn't already own, and this popped up and I thought, yeah, I should definitely try and get that, and dumped it into my Amazon wish list and got it for Christmas. This one is part of 88 Films' Italian collection, Cannibal Holocaust. I'm not entirely sure, because I didn't do any research before I started recording. I just sort of started this on a whim, although I did intend on doing this video, I wasn't intending on doing it right now. My intention today actually was to go out to Darlington to do a bit of hunting, I suppose. Look around the charity shops. I have some Sea Hijack vouchers. I also have a few things to trade in, but there's a few of the shops there, as well as cash converters. I think Renew closed. I seem to remember last time I was there, Renew wasn't open anymore. But yeah, like I never got out there today because it still is chucking it down with rain. So I didn't just manage, I was up here and I remembered that all this stuff was here waiting, and I thought, oh, I'll just grab my phone and start recording. So I didn't actually take the time to look on 88 Films website to see what volume number this is. That was a long way around just to get to a simple explanation. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what volume this is. It's probably 70 something, I would imagine. That's around where they are with the releases, I think, now. Yeah, very happy to add another one of these to the collection. This, I think, is probably the creme de la creme of what I received. Cheesy as all hell. This film is called Terravision. It is a sci-fi horror comedy from the 1980s, which I think I first saw on Sky Movies in 89 or thereabouts, and absolutely loved it. And then maybe 5 or 6 years ago, found it on YouTube and watched it again on YouTube. That wasn't the greatest picture quality on YouTube, but it was still very watchable and really enjoyed it. And at that point, added it to my Amazon wish list. Now, at any point, I suppose I could have bought it myself, but I haven't until I don't need to now. My brother bought me this with a few other things. So I am so pleased to have got this, because I really enjoy this film, and it is going to be on my watch list this week. Great cheesy movie. Very pleased about that. Then I guess these two go together. Red Dwarf Series 11 and Series 12. I haven't seen anything from either of these series. I've got 9 and 10 there, Back to Earth and Series 10. The first 8 series, which I guess are all a classic series, I'll have all of those on DVD. As far as I'm aware, they're only available in a box set together on Blu-ray, unless at some point recently they've been issued individually on Blu-ray, but I don't know that they have. Again, I haven't really looked into that, but it's something I do want to get on Blu-ray eventually. I would prefer them, to be honest, separately as individual series rather than... One thing I don't like getting is incomplete box sets, meaning a box set, say like Lost. I haven't got the entire Lost, but I've got all but the first season. I wouldn't buy a box set of just the first 3 seasons, and then there's 6, or box sets of seasons 1 and 2. There are a few exceptions, which I can't show you on here because it's below the table, where it's the only way you can get them is part seasons and then finishing off with the I'm not really explaining that too well. I have Sherlock, for example. I've got season 3, 4, and the is it the Runaway Bride? That doesn't sound right. But anyway, there's 2 seasons of Sherlock plus a special that are available individually. Now, seasons 1 and 2 are available individually, but not with slipcovers, and the other 3 have slipcovers. So I do have series 1 and 2 of Sherlock in a box set together, just because it looks tidier on the shelf, in a box rather than without slipcovers. But there are certainly other examples. I don't know if there's anything that I own that I can pick on right at this moment, where you can only get a box set of part of the series, and then things have come later. I'm sure that's happened with shows, that there's been sort of 2 or 3 classic series of a show, and then many years later a new revival or something's come along, and so you can't actually get a full box set as yet. Maybe at some point that will happen. So yeah, if I again, another long-winded explanation. So as far as Red Dwarf is concerned, I would prefer to get series 1 through 8 individually, but I might have to just get them in a box set at some point on Blu-ray. But for now, I'm happy to have those 2 in order. And then there was a TV movie, I think, came out a few years ago that comes after series 12, called The Promised Land, that's as yet I don't own, so that'll be, I'm not sure if that one's on my wish list or not. Maybe I need to put it on there. But that of all things, that comes with that really annoyed me when I saw this. See, I got both of these off my dad, and I put them up together like that on the spines, and that really, that won't focus very well. That just really annoys the hell out of me when you've got items like that that are supposed to go together and they don't match. That's such an annoyance. I was looking at something else last night, which this also applies to, and it really annoys me when they do that. I mean, you've got these Marvel series here. So you've got Agent Carter, or the ones that I own anyway, Agent Carter, Daredevil, and what's the other one? Can't see the other one. Jessica Jones. And they all, even though they've got their own individual, I guess, logos for the names, they still match. I mean, you could go as far as saying that the Irish ratings are only on 2 out of the 4, but at least even though they've done that, they've still kept, they've still kept this all at the same level, and they've got all the writing for the series at the same level, and then all this is together and all this together. Legion is different, but then I think that's been put out by a different company, even though it is a Marvel property. It looks like that's come out by Fox rather than Disney. And then again with the, I mean, I would expect the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and even then they can't get that right. It starts up here and it goes down and it goes back up, all because they don't have the Irish ratings on these 2 for whatever reason. Still could have just leveled it up so it was all the same. Yeah, that really does annoy me when they do that. But anyway, I digress. Yes, I'm waffling on. It's making this video way longer than it needs to be, and I don't know how long it actually is now, because I've stopped this recording a couple of times, one intentionally just then and earlier on by mistake. But anyway, moving on. This is one that I've been after for a while and probably left it too long. North Sea Hijack. It is an 88 films release. Unfortunately, I didn't get this with the slipcover. I don't know if there's anything internally, or there's some art cards or a booklet or whatever with that release, but there is a slipcover for this. And I guess the slipcover one must have sold out, because I still like the film. I love the film. I haven't seen it for a very long time. Roger Moore was back in the day always my favourite James Bond. So yeah, a little bit disappointed that I didn't get this with the slipcover, but very pleased still that I own it. And then this is another one that is disappointing, but I don't think this was ever released with a slipcover. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I love this movie. I thought it was amazing. Again, it was one that I bought on digital when it very first came out, prior to the release of the Blu-ray. It seems on iTunes a lot of new movies get an earlier release, certainly for rental, but even to purchase. And it was just such a good deal to get all three movies. I think it was like £17 or something like that for all three movies, as this was being released. So yeah, I jumped on that. I was intending on getting this anyway because it was something that I really wanted to watch, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, like I say, I don't think this ever came with a slipcover, at least as a single release. Now, this is another one where I've owned for long before this came out, the first two movies as a double pack on Blu-ray, so Ghostbusters 1 and 2 together. There is a Ghostbusters 1, 2 and 3, and I assume there's probably a box set of Ghostbusters, the three Ghostbusters, and then that ginger stepchild of a Ghostbusters movie that came out in 2016, that really awful, yeah, one that should not be mentioned. There's probably a box set with 4 movies, which I would have no interest in buying, but if there's a 3 movie set that has a slipcover, which I don't think there is, that's something I might look into getting in the future, just to save space. But for now, I'm chuffed with that. And some Doctor Who. This was Jodie Whittaker's last episode, I guess. It was a special, so I think it was a bit longer than a single episode. The Power of the Doctor. I actually really enjoyed this episode. Some of the stuff that's been on more recently, not so much. The one on Christmas Day was very good. The 3 prior to that, when David Tennant came back, and not because David Tennant had come back, I really enjoyed his stuff, but those 3 episodes weren't great. They weren't awful, but they weren't great. But at some point I'll still buy the Blu-ray or get the Blu-ray as a present maybe, but I won't be paying, won't be buying that brand new, let's just say that. So yeah, happy to grab this. This is what I was talking about earlier on when I said I was looking at some stuff last night regarding Spineheart. So this is all of Jodie Whittaker's specials on Blu-ray, and they go together really well. They're not perfect when it comes to matching up, but you know what, it's not that bad. Of course, you've got just the one of them with the Irish rating, the rest have got the UK rating, but I don't think that has pushed that up in any way. And I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that when these have been set on the text has been set, it's been set to a centre, so that it's the ones that are slightly higher at the top is because the entire bit of text is longer than the others, so it's got a centre setting, so that they're all the centres are maybe in the same spot. I'm not entirely sure, but that looks so much better together than those 2 Red Dwarf ones do. But then, yeah, in series 13, exactly the place where it would sit in the shelf between those specials and that special, and all of a sudden everything's knocked. Again, it's probably centered, but instead of having Doctor Who at the top and then the episode titles down here, you've got Doctor Who in the centre and the season title, I guess that's what that is, the Flux, underneath, so it just doesn't look right. I'm spending way too much time on this, and I'm going to stop this now and go back to the last couple of pickups. Right, hopefully I haven't lost too many people on that. Me going off on a tangent once again, waffling on like I do. If you've been here a while and been watching the channel for a while, you know I always tend to go off on tangents that take us in all sorts of places. Anyway, moving on. Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, limited edition, numbered. Which I've had a few of these, not this particular release, but these DC box sets with the figures. I don't believe any of them that I've had previously have been numbered. I don't think. I might have to double check on that. But yeah, this has been on my list for a while. So happy that we finally got this one in the collection. Very pleased. I have no idea who the minifigure is. I guess we'll have to watch the movie to find that out. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of these DC minifigure editions now. So happy to add this to collection. The only problem is where I keep them, on the very top of the shelf. There is no more space. It is full, and there isn't enough room on top between the top of the ones that are there and the ceiling above to pile this on top. So I might have to rethink how I display those. And then lastly, this was probably the biggest shock. I had completely forgotten that this was even in my wish list, but was very pleased when I saw it. An Arrow video release of the Count Yorga collection. So 2 movies, Count Yorga Vampire and The Return of Count Yorga. Obviously you get all the other stuff in there. There's a booklet, or a book there by the looks of it. No doubt there'll be a poster and some art cards inside. I have never seen either of these films, so I hope they will be entertaining. Yeah, very pleased about that. So there we have it. My Christmas presents for 2023. I just can't get this camera to stay in focus. I don't know if I've recorded a video with this camera yet. I'm not sure. I've only had it since October. So yeah, I don't know whether I've used it for recording. I mean, I used it in the car a few weeks ago, but that never came out, and that's not been seen on YouTube. But I can't remember the last YouTube video that I recorded. I guess that was towards the end of October, so maybe I did use this phone. But anyway, I have a whole host of other stuff that I've purchased over the last month or two that I guess I was going to do a video after this, or I was considering doing another video after this. But I've lost my tripod that I normally use for recording, which is why I've been handheld this whole time for this video. Can't remember whether I mentioned that at the beginning or not. I intended to. And so the way this has been going out of focus, or maybe it's just my glasses, I don't know. Yeah, it's been annoying. But anyway, thank you, mate. Oh my goodness me. Thank you very much for watching once again, and hopefully it won't be too long until the next one. Yeah, cheers, and yeah, thank you very much. Ta-ra.